Hey, it's Jeff. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk about the neon pothos, the Epipermnum Aureum. I'm going to show you how I care for it, how to propagate it, and yeah, we'll take a look at this gorgeous plant. One of the problems with owning a lot of houseplants like I do is I don't always remember where I got them from. This is the original plant, I know for sure, and I want to say I took cuttings from this one and I made an entirely new plant. There is two separate pots. This one is grown quite large. It's actually trailing down almost to the floor here. I'm going to start off with the light requirements for these plants. I would consider this to be more of a medium light plant, but pothos plants in particular are known for their ability to survive and even grow in low light conditions. Low light, I measure by foot candles. I have a little light meter here. I do have an Amazon Canada and US link. It's down in the description. Go check it out if you're interested in any products in my videos. So I bought this light meter off Amazon and it tells me the foot candle readings. This plant is, I would consider, more of a medium light with the neon one in particular. So low light plants are around the 50 to 250 foot candles. 250 to 500 is kind of that medium light location, and anything above 500 or even 1,000 foot candles is your high light plants. So I do have a grow bulb downstairs here just as a little reference. I'm just going to put the sensor towards the light, and it's about maybe a foot back, and it's reading about 360, 370 foot candles. I'm gonna take this upstairs and actually measure the reading where it is located. So let's take it upstairs and see what kind of light it's getting on the piano. So this is where the plant is. It's about 12 feet back from a south-facing window. If I put the light meter up in kind of the shadier area, it's definitely getting that low light. It's around 65 foot candles. But when you bring it down into the brighter light, if you get some light on the sensor, it actually pops up between that. Well, it's getting actually a lot of light right there. Let's bring it over here. So it's bouncing around between the low, medium, and high light. And when you put it in the direct sunlight, holy cow, it actually jumps up to 1,700 foot candles. The amount of sunlight you get is obviously determined by the time of day. So right now it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's getting some direct morning sunlight, which is much different than direct afternoon sunlight. So I'm not too worried about this because the morning sun is not as harsh as the kind of that mid to later afternoon sunlight. So I would not recommend putting this in that harsh afternoon sunlight, but a little bit of morning direct sunlight is not going to hurt it. Obviously you can see mine is doing well. Just so you can see how far it is from the window, like I said, we're about 12 feet back. The light is reaching all the way back here, and that's because the sun is lower in the sky in the winter months. If it was the summer right now, this would not be getting any direct sunlight. The sun would be much higher in the sky and would not be able to reach this far back. But since it's winter, all my houseplants, oh, for goodness sakes. I think my Amazon package. The humidity is only 37% right now. Temperature is 20. That's pretty typical of the type of humidity we get here. Oh, it's 36 now. In the Canadian prairies, it gets really dry here. We get cold, dry air, so that's pretty common. So I don't think I'm going to add a humidifier because most of my houseplants are doing really well. And no browning tips or edges or anything like that. So look at these two nutcases. Oh yeah, I know. She's on your bed, hey? But you got a new dog cat bed from one of our neighbors down the street. You leave Pickles alone, Oscar. Hey, you're a good girl. He's always pestering you. See? Now he's pestering me. Nope. Okay, you go lay down. There's a dirty sock. Okay. One of the kids forgot to pick up their socks. Watering this plant is pretty easy. I just pay attention to the leaves and obviously the soil. If the soil's dry and the leaves are looking a little bit saggy or droopy, that's when I give it a good thorough watering. I'll basically soak the soil. These have both been well watered a couple days ago. I should have waited, but I was at work and I couldn't film. But yeah, basically just stick your finger in the soil and you can see it is I don't know if you can or not, but it is a little bit damp right now. And this is the soil consistency that I use. I use a ProMix's tropical plant soil with a lot of extra perlite. They need a well-draining soil. That way it doesn't get overwatered, it doesn't hang on to moisture for too long. They like to be thoroughly watered, but not sit in that kind of wet, soggy soil for very long. So let it dry out completely. I'll water these probably maybe once every 2 weeks, and that's dependent on the amount of light you get. So with any houseplant, the brighter the light that you have it in, the more water that it's probably going to utilize and like for photosynthesis. So just keep an eye on the soil and the leaves. Otherwise, it's a pretty easygoing plant. Like I said, I use ProMix's premium tropical plant mix. It does have some perlite in there, but I usually add another cup or something and just kind of mix it in and use that for soil. It's a really good soil so far, and yeah, I would highly recommend it. Another useful tip is I always, whoa, geez, it's getting caught here. I always use a terracotta pot. Terracotta is very porous. It's good at absorbing soil moisture lower in the pot and evaporating it out. It's just one more way to prevent root rot or from the soil staying too wet or for too long. And then just make sure that your pot has a large enough drain hole so that if you do give it lots of water, it has the ability to drain out the bottom of the pot. This one here has a drain hole here too. And we got some roots poking out the bottom. So these get root bound pretty fast, and it's okay if they get root bound for a while, but if you start to see them declining, or if you're having to water them more frequently than you normally would. So if you have like a watering routine of maybe once every 2 weeks and you're finding it really thirsty after like 3 or 4 days, pull it out of the pot, check the roots. It's probably root bound, especially if you're losing some leaves there as well. That's pretty well it. This plant, it's pretty easy going. The only issues I've ever really had with it is if you give it improper care, like improper soil, you're overwatering it. It's the only issue is typically root rot. Here is the fertilizer that I use with most of my houseplants. And again, this is on the Amazon page. It's a Foliage Pro. Just follow the directions on the back. It is a liquid fertilizer. I just mix it up in a watering can and I water it when the plant needs water. So I will wait till it's completely dry, or if I see the leaves getting a little bit saggy, and then I will water it with the fertilizer. Don't like water your plant and then like a couple days later water it again with fertilizer, because you're definitely going to overwater it and potentially killing your plant. So don't do that. But yeah, this is what I use. It's really good. This is an 8 ounce. I think there is a 32 ounce one. It's quite a bit larger, but I just got the little guy, just a little jug. Not only are pothos plants extremely easy to care for, they're extremely easy to propagate. If you've never done it before, obviously I'm going to show you right now. So you want to look for a leaf where it's attached to the stem. This is a leaf node or leaf line. You can see you even got like a little actual line along the stem. You want to cut in between 2 leaf nodes or leaf lines, just like that, with a section of the stem like this. So you can just stick this entire portion in like a container of water, but I'm going to take individual leaf cuttings, and the reason why is I want to make an entirely new pot of this type of plant. And if you take single leaf node cuttings and you root them in water, they will all eventually grow into their own new stem or vine. You put all those cuttings into one pot and eventually it turns into a large, lush, full pot like this. So again, just go along the stem and cut in between those leaf, it's called the internode, in between 2 leaf nodes, just so that you get cuttings like this. You can take however many you like. Just gonna cut them up here, stick them in a container of water, and I'll make an entirely new plant. So I'm gonna leave the last 2 leaves along this stem. You can cut it up if you want, but I'm gonna leave this one on because this is where the stem or vine continues to grow. So I'm gonna leave this intact. And it looks like I got a few cuttings, which I'm going to put in a container of water. I'm also going to point out here as well, this is the stem where I just made the cut from the main plant here. It will not grow from this cut portion, but you will continue to get a new stem or new vine. It'll push it out from the closest leaf node. So when you do make the cut, you will continue to get you will get a new vine pushing out from this area. So now I'm just going to put all the cuttings in a container of water. You don't want the leaves submerged, just these cut ends. These little bumps here are aerial roots. These are where the roots are going to grow from. So you want those submerged in water. I'm going to use filtered tap water. You just pull this little toggle and then turn on the tap. I'm probably going to replace this maybe once a week just so it gets some fresh water. Set it aside in a bright setting location, and that is pretty much it. You should start to see roots in about a week or two. Here is a golden pothos cutting that I have rooting in water, and I like to stick pothos cuttings with other plants propagating in water. I find that it helps with faster root growth and healthier roots. I do have a video on that. I did kind of like a little experiment. I can leave it up in the top corner, but I just wanted to show you what the roots look like after living in water for probably a few months. Honestly, I don't even know how old this cutting is, but you can see the roots pop out from the stem from those aerial roots, and this is how it grows. Stick that back in water, but yeah, I just wanted to quickly show you what the roots look like. Oh my God, I thought you were downstairs. What are you doing there? Get out of the basket, you turd. Oh my goodness, you're into everything. I'm trying to film. Let's go, come on. Get up here. Good boy. What are you doing? Why are you always in trouble? But look at that face. So I think that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. I hope you found it useful and can apply some of the things in today's video to your houseplants to make them look luscious and green like this. Thanks for watching my videos, everyone. Take care, bye.